Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, it is hard to believe that it is only a week before Christmas, and the high today in southern Missouri, where we are, is going to be 62 degrees.
We've been seeing this in the forecast for at least a week, and we thought, you know what, that is the day to do an outdoor project. So today we're bringing you along. We've got chores to do, just a couple before we get started, but we thought we'd bring you along today.
Then we want to show you also some changes that we've made to our hoop coops, to the design of the hoop coop, and why we think the way we're doing them now is quite a bit better than what we've done in the past. But let's start with chores. All right, we're going to start this morning with the chickens. We've had to put away our solar powered doors for the winter because they just don't work well in our kind of icy conditions here. Obviously today we're not having ice, but in icy weather, those automatic doors just don't work well. So I've come up with a new solution. I'm going to show you more in depth in just a little bit. But first, let's just let the chickens and the geese all out for the day. Morning, chickens. Morning, pilgrim geese. Well, we're back to the time of year where we need to fill pans with water too. We can't use automatic waters this time of year because most days they just freeze right up. That's okay. A little hard work in the winter, but the summers are so much easier.
On the other side of the chicken moat, we have our American buff geese, and they have the same kind of new door system as the others. Morning, geese. Even though it's winter, all the geese are swimming in their pans of water. So every day they're basically bone dry, and we have to fill them all the way up to the top so they can come and swim in there again.
Well, I noticed yesterday afternoon that the cows were just about out of hay, and I hear them mooing this morning like they're ready for some. So let's go head down by the cattle.
When we're feeding cows, it can get a little bit tricky because the cows really want the hay that Kevin is going to bring in to this lot here. They'll chase after the tractor and start eating off the bale before we even get like the bale net wrap off. They just get in the way. So what we do is distract them. I distract them with cattle cubes. I'm going to call them over into an area down this like alley here. I'm going to call them past the pond, feed them these cattle cubes, and hopefully distract them long enough for Kevin to get his part of the job done.
If you're not familiar with cattle cubes, they're basically like really, really big chicken feed, chicken pellets, but size for cattle. So we don't give our cattle much in the way of grain, only like this when we're feeding hay, and it's just to keep everybody safe. So once we actually get going, the tractor will be on. It's going to be noisy. It's hard to talk, so we thought we'd explain real quick so you know what you're about to see.
Come on, cows! Come on! Come on, cows!
Well, now that morning chores are done, it's time to move on to our project for the day, which really is cleaning out our hoop coops because we're getting this nice kind of break in the winter weather. But we also want to show you the improvements we've made to the hoop coops over the last 6 to 9 months to really make things better for the animals living inside.
The main change that we've made is we have made all of the hoop coops have a solid bottom, and we have elevated them about a foot off of the ground.
I originally was going to do just the one that has our breeder geese in it because last year, you may remember, we had a problem with skunks digging under the side of the hoop coop and actually stealing goose eggs right from underneath the mom goose and pulling them outside. We actually caught 2 skunks while they were doing that. So we wanted to get a solid floor so that nothing could do that again next year because we lost a lot of goose eggs last year to that. But after I saw how nice the first one turned out, I decided to actually do it to all of our hoop coops.
It's really ended up being a smart move. Another problem that we had using the hoop coops with just the ground as the bottom underneath them is that it allowed a lot of moisture. When the rain would fall on the top, it would run like right to the bottom and then underneath, so it made it really mucky and yucky. And especially for the geese that we're having them sit on and hatch their own eggs, it just made a really not very great environment for them.
Right.
Another thing is that when we were cleaning out the coops before it had the solid bottom, you know, we would be basically shoveling some of the ground out with the bedding and stuff, and it just kind of eroded more and more underneath there, eroded that away. So it ended up making kind of like a pool or kind of like a bowl underneath there. So just more
Over
and
time,
more.
it just had more and more ways to hold water inside.
Right. Yeah.
So let's take a look around this one real quick, and then we'll get it cleaned out, and then I'll show you the floor inside once we get all the bedding out of it. I am going to show you how I also made the new sliding doors that we have for the winter, but I'm going to wait till we get over to the other goose house for that because it's an easier one to see. Now, the other thing is, you may notice that today Sarah's going to be doing most of the heavy lifting. She's going to be doing all the shoveling and things inside the hoop coops. If you saw our last update video, you know that earlier this summer, I injured my back. I had a bulging disc. It's the L5S1 area. And
it ruptured.
And so I got over that, but last week I did something to it again, and my back has been very sore, so I'm trying to do light duty as much as possible. Unfortunately for Sarah, that means she gets to shovel out all 3 of these hoop coops today.
It's fine.
But it's good dry bedding. It really shouldn't be that hard. I'll be on the tractor. She can shovel it right into the bucket, and we can take it over to the compost pile.
So let's get started.
Well, Sarah got all of the bedding shoveled out of here. I wanted to show you guys real quick kind of what it looks like inside. Basically, I just used pressure treated ground contact rated plywood. I think I did 1/2 inch thick on this, maybe 3/4. I don't remember. And then I built a frame, you know, put a floor joist going across, put some bracing in between, and then we just picked up the old hoop coops. We didn't rebuild our hoop coops. We picked them up with the tractor, set them on top of the base, and then used big screws to screw down into the base, and they've been working out absolutely great. So we're going to put some new bedding in this one, get the chicken one cleaned out, and then we'll meet you guys over by the final one, which is the other goose house, and that's where I'm going to show you how these new doors work. Well, all of the hoop coops are cleaned and all of the birds have new bedding, so they're going to be happy tonight because it's going to get chilly. In fact, I feel like if it did get up to 62 today, it had to have been at like 10 o'clock this morning because it's starting to cool down quite a bit. So we're gonna finish up our outside work and get back inside by the wood stove. But I do want to show you guys this door that I built. I built one of these for each of the hoop coops, and they've worked out really, really well. In the summer, we have solar power doors that slide up and down, and I didn't want to change all of the wood. I wanted to be able to leave the opening the same, so next spring we can put those back on. But here in Missouri, we get a lot of ice, and in the winter, those solar ones just did not work. So what I did is I went to Menards, and I bought this pretty heavy metal. It's a 12 by 24 sheet, already came cut to size. It's not very sharp, which is nice. It's got kind of rounded edges. It was about $9. And then for the sides here, what I did is I bought some of the track that you can purchase for if you're putting lattice around something. And the lattice panels actually slide in here. But this is like a really heavy plastic that's rated for outdoors, and it just makes a perfect track. So I just drilled some holes, screwed that right to the wood, slid this piece of metal in, and then I put a knob up here, tied a string to it, and ran it down the fence line so we don't have to come into the chicken moat to open and close the doors in the morning and at night. We can do it from the other side of the fence. Let me show you how it works. I just have an eyelet up here, and then over here on the fence, I just marked the fence so I know which rung to hook this on every day. That way I know it's open all the way. But basically, just unhook it from the fence. It slides shut perfectly. And the next morning, just come hook it back on the fence. And they've worked out really well. I think these tracks will last a long time. In the spring, I'll take all of this down, put the solar ones back up, store this stuff for next winter, and that way we don't have to buy it all again. So there you go, a really easy way to make sliding doors. They've been very effective. They've kept all of the predators out.
Well, that project is done. It's definitely getting chillier.
Right.
I think it's time to be done and go in the house.
Yeah, I think it's time to get a fire started and get ready to make some dinner. And you know, these days are short, these winter days. We're getting dark about 5:15 now, and it just gives you a good amount of time to rest, which is exactly what we want to do.
But it was a good workout for me today, so I'm feeling good about going in the house to rest.
You guys, thank you so much for swinging by the homestead today to spend some time with us. We hope to see you all again in the future, but for sure, have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys in 2026. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.